What's up, y'all? So, will the housing market crash in 2022 or 2021? I don't know, man. It's crazy. Last year, when rates plummeted, and just about this time, everybody started going fucking bonkers into the mortgage industry and in the real estate industry, and everybody started buying stuff up, right? Because we started to see stimulus coming out. We started to see the government print money and push money into the economy because, well, what did they want to do? They didn't want COVID to, you know, basically cause a wreck. We're in an election year, right? Trump is going like, dude, we got to do something. We got to do something. We got to stimulate the economy. Remember about this time last year, we got an email from APM's economist. I can't remember the dude's name. He's a funny guy. He likes wearing bow ties. He's nothing like me. But anyways, he sent out an email that just kind of referenced what was going to happen and talked about inflation and how people wanted to position their money into housing. And I texted one of my boys, James Pitts. I said, "Hey man, get me in an escrow by Monday." And it was a Thursday, and we're hitting the anniversary of that date here in a couple weeks. Today being July 15th, and by Monday I was in escrow, and it was the beginning part of the sellers taking power of just overall the buyers, right? Where you started to see people overbidding for properties like crazy. We were having tons of appraisal issues. The mortgage industry had just been bombarded with new loans because of refinances. It was just absolutely crazy. We honestly just were trying to hold on as hard as we could. I had just become a first time dad. And I had no idea what was going to happen. Um, but I knew something big was on the horizon. And so, you know, I clearly remember buying my house being so nervous the entire escrow process because I was like, fuck, did I just buy at the peak of the market? Did I just make a huge mistake that's going to cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars over the next few years? You know, had somebody told me that my house was going to appreciate 20% in a year, I said, you're out of your mind, right? But I know that's the feeling that people are having right now when they're thinking about buying, right? Is the housing market going to crash? Is it going to crash in this year? Is it going to crash in 2022? When is this crash going to happen? When is the housing bubble going to pop? The truth is, right? The lazy way out for me is to just say, no one really knows, right? No one really knows. Here are some things, some factors that we need to take into consideration, right? The first is the underwriting of the mortgages. This isn't 2008 where if you had a breath, right, you can get a mortgage loan, right? There's a saying, if you could fog up a mirror, you could have got a loan back in '06, '07, right? There's a classic scene in the movie The Big Short. Highly recommend it. One of the best movies ever made, that at least for the housing industry and the financial sector. Does a really great job explaining what happened. But Steve Carell, he's at a strip club, and the stripper goes, "I own 5 condos." He's like, "What? What happens when all those loans come due?" And she's like, "What do you mean? I'll refinance." He's like, "You can't refinance, right? That's not gonna happen now, right? That's not gonna happen. If any of you have done a loan with me, you know, you know how crazy it is. You know how much paperwork we retire. We literally have to prove the ability to repay, right? So that's one big factor to take into account, that the loans are being underwritten in such a way that we make sure people qualify, right? Then there was this big thing about the forbearances. Well, what's going to happen with the forbearances? Well, they're just going to kind of be there, right? Didn't really, the people that took advantage of them, a lot of them kept paying their mortgage. It's very few that are going to lose their home. But here's the thing, they're not going to go into foreclosure. They just have too much equity. There's too much equity in housing right now. Houses appreciated, like I said earlier. My house appreciated almost 20%. That's not just my house. I'm not a microcosm. I'm a microcosm of the economy here in the United States. The United States real estate, just about everywhere, appreciated at that rate, right? So there's tons of equity. And here's something that people aren't really considering. The millennials. The millennials now becoming home buyers, right? Now we're a little shaken because we saw 2008, right? Millennials tend to be a little bit stingier with their money, right? Because we've seen that. We grew up in that, right? A lot of us, parents or brothers or sisters, cousins, aunts, they lost their homes during that '08 debacle, right? I know it hit some of my family members and probably some of yours. But the biggest generation, right, coming in and buying houses, well, that's a huge increase in demand. On top of that, most millennials are fighting for higher pay, right? They're getting paid more. They have a better understanding of inflation. They have a better understanding of money, right? I'm generalizing, but I hold it to be somewhat true. So I don't think that the buyers are in a bad position, right? The people that are selling their home that were in forbearance, they're probably not gonna go out and get foreclosed on when they're sitting on $100,000. In California, you had a $300,000 home in my hood in Riverside County in Marietta, Temecula. Things worth 500-600 now. If you lost your job, right? If you lost your job and you're sitting on $200,000 of equity, you're gonna give me a call. You're gonna give one of your realtors a call. You're gonna say, "What do I do?" We're gonna advise you to sell, and you're gonna take $200,000. Which, by the way, if you're married and you've had it for 2 years, you don't even gotta pay taxes on it because of a primary residence exclusion. You're gonna take that money and you're gonna go, right? If it's one of my Latino brothers, right? If it was somebody like my dad, take that money, go to Mexico, retire. You're gonna live like a king out there for the next 10 to 20 years, right? Or, right, they move to Arizona, they move to Nevada, New Mexico, right? A state where necessarily the housing prices aren't so expensive. Texas, right? Californians going to Texas to follow Joe Rogan. So there's too much equity, right? The loans are underwritten. And then there's cash, guys. 20% of all of the money ever printed was printed in 2020. The government has figured out that they can print money. And us, right? We're just going to accept it. We're going to accept that our bank accounts, that our savings accounts just got devalued by 20%. We're going to tolerate inflation for, to get that extra $1,000 in our pocket. Right? So will the housing crash in 2021? Nope. It's my prediction. Nope. Will it crash in 2022? Nope. It's not. It's going to be more of the same. Right? What's going to happen? Maybe it evens out towards Q3, Q4 of 2022 because interest rates are going to go up. People are going to lose some affordability. Right? People aren't going to be rushing into making moves. Right? Trying to get on the wagon, right? Before it crashes, right? Trying to make that extra few $1,000. I just try to catch that wave going up. We establish a new barrier for housing prices. Guarantee you in 2022, loan limits are going to go up, right? 548,000 conforming loan limit right now. Guarantee you that gets closer to 600. Guarantee it. Mark my words. Mark Calabria, who was, the head of HUD, just, in my opinion, fucking shit up. Right? Putting stupid rules like an adverse market fee for refinance. Right? Dictating that Fannie and Freddie, right, holding them to 7% of loans that they can buy for secondary homes and investment properties. Fucking crazy, right? Companies like ourselves now had to find a different avenue to send our investment properties and second home loans. Guarantee you that goes away. Right? Biden pushing for more affordability for first-time home buyers, creating different programs, new down payment assistance products. So what's going to happen 2022? Right? That's what we got to be thinking about right now. 2021, let's get through it. That's a little more of the same. 2022, to everybody right now who's in the market who couldn't buy because they're getting outbid by all the cash buyers, it's their turn. It's their turn. So is it gonna crash? Nah, it's not. This is the new baseline, right? Now I'm not an economist. I'm not a financial planner, so I'm not giving you financial advice. But if I didn't own a house, right, or if I had some extra cash sitting around that I needed to put somewhere, I wouldn't put that shit in crypto. It's about to be gone. This is about to be regulated. I know that's controversial. No one's competing with the American dollar, and no one's competing with the housing market. So stack your coins and get ready to buy. Peace out, y'all. Till next time.